So what is the number one thing that happens when you have to talk to a stranger? What happens? Talk to me.
Fear what he
we
will say after we said about.
Very good. Very good.
will respond or not,
Okay, whether they'll respond or not. What will they say? Very good. True. Okay, and why do you think that happens?
because we don't know that person.
You don't know that person. True. You don't know how they will react. You don't know whether they'll react or not. It's a brand new experience for you. That's why. Now, what does this cause to your system?
You feel uncomfortable.
Your system feels uncomfortable. You feel uncomfortable. So, what happens to your body? Can you tell me that? Imagine I'm bringing you and I'm putting you, imagine we're doing this physically and I'm bringing you and putting you in front of the entire class. Everybody is sitting, you are standing, everybody is looking at you. And then I'm saying you have to speak something about, any topic that I give you. What happens to your body then at that moment?
Body will nervous.
We are afraid of
There
judgment.
will be some fear. We will start shivering.
Yeah, so your body becomes nervous, there is fear. And how does that fear and nervousness show in the body? So, like Abhijit said, maybe you're shivering.
We will get
Sometimes hesitate.
You avoid to contact with people, and you started looking up and down.
So sometimes you're not making eye contact, you're looking up and down. Okay, what else happens? How does fear show
Sweating.
in the body? Sweating, very
Sweating.
good. So you sweat, you tremble, you shiver. What else happens?
Acidity starting in stomach.
Acidity starts in the stomach. Okay. And how do you feel that? Do you feel that?
Yes.
You feel a
It
rumbling
makes
sensation.
uncomfortable.
What is
It
it?
make
Blood
uncomfortable
pressure.
to stand.
Say that again.
It's make difficult to stand at one place.
It makes you feel very uncomfortable to stand in one place. So there's some rumbling that's happening in the stomach.
Also
What else?
vibration happens
Yes.
in the,
What is it, Vikash?
also vibration happens happening in the body.
So shiver. There is a tremor kind of thing happening from head to toe. For some people, it could be just your hands. For some people, it could be just your legs. For some others, it could be your entire body. Yeah. For some people, it could be sweating here. For some people, your hands,
Yes.
your palms will sweat.
Palms.
Yeah. And for some people, you might feel very cold suddenly. Your hands have become very cold. Yeah. And for some people, you might feel very hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ankit is like, not cold, it's hot.
Yeah.
You would feel as if you're getting a temperature or something. Yeah. So I always say the temperature at the stage is a few degrees more than the temperature in the auditorium, in the audience. The moment you come up there on the stage, you feel more hot. Correct? It's your anxiety. It's nothing but your anxiety and nervousness showing in your body. So the first thing that we have to do is manage this anxiety is to understand how does it show in your body. Okay, every time you're nervous, not just with respect to speaking, with respect to any uncomfortable situation. So imagine you have to go on to this most important client call in another 10 minutes. Okay, what happens to your system? What happens to your body? Become aware about what happens to your body, because that is the first step in addressing that anxiety. Because number one, it shows in your body before it shows elsewhere. Okay, become aware about it. So does everybody have a note and a pen along with you? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Write down what happens to your particular body whenever it turns anxious. Under anxiety, my body becomes. Or under anxiety, I sweat a lot. Under anxiety, my hands tremble, my body trembles, my throat turns dry. There is some rumbling in the stomach. There are butterflies in the stomach. My hands are shivering, my legs are shivering. I feel hot, I feel cold, there is sweat. I can't sit, I continuously walk. Whatever it is. Or if there is something new that I have not talked about, do let us know as well.
Our heartbeat also increase.
Very good. Thank you for saying that. I missed it. Your heartbeat definitely increases, and you feel as if the next person can even hear your heartbeat.
And
At
feel
first,
something.
Brynmai, yes?
at first, words struggle to come out of my mouth. I mean, first 2 to 3 words are, they are not audible by people. So I need to speak that again.
Yeah, true. So once you open your mouth, the initial few words are not coming out at all. They feel stuck, or for some people, you will feel that the initial few words sound totally different. Like you feel that it's not your voice at all. It's somebody else's voice that's coming out.
Yes.
And you feel, whatever happened to my voice? Doesn't sound right. Correct? We will address that as well.
Correct.
So write what happens to you whenever you are faced with anxiety. Just give me a second. I'm going to turn on the fan. Okay. Return, everybody. Okay. So the fear of public speaking, right? That's what we're going to be dealing with today. The fear of public speaking is one of the most common fears that people have everywhere, not just in India, even in the world. So there was a survey that was conducted, which asked participants to rank your top 3 fears, and then public speaking came up in the top 3. All right. So I just want you to know that you're not alone. Don't feel that it's only me. This is happening only with me. Everybody else is very comfortable with speaking. It's only with me. That's not true. It happens with everybody. And there is definitely certain amount of anxiety, even amongst public speakers. And I'm going to come and talk about why it is natural and why it is important, but at a different time. But just know that your public speaking fear is universal. It's just not you. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, I want you to know that you feel it more on the inside than how much it shows on the outside. So even on the days when I've asked you to speak, so even now when you did gibberish, maybe some of you had some degrees of anxiety inside. Correct? Yes, you all felt a little amount of anxiety or nervousness. This is so uncomfortable. How do I do this? Yes, still you ended up doing it. And can somebody tell me who was the most nervous person to do that gibberish? Shankara?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So who was the most nervous?
Ma'am, me.
Thank you for honestly saying, okay, that's me. How many of you thought that Shankara was nervous when he did his gibberish? Yes, you were gibberish. Yes, Shankara, you were gibberish. We were, you were nervous. We were able to see it. No, we were not able to see it. How many of you thought that he was nervous?
Ma'am, when I was doing first time, at that time I was very nervous.
So I just want, just the show of thumbs down. There was not even one thumbs up, right? So this is exactly what I mean when I say you feel more of that nervousness on the inside in your mind than how much it shows on the outside. Okay, there are studies which prove that. It proves that people perceive nervousness to be greater than what it actually is. Okay, so those are the two things that I want you to remember about public speaking. Okay, now coming back to your anxiety and how it shows in your body. Good. Is there anybody who has not realized how your body behaves whenever it is anxious? Is there somebody who says, I don't know what happens when my body is under anxiety attack? Is there somebody like that? Everybody knows, right? Okay, good. Now I want you to write below that anxiety is my ally. Can you write that? I've written that in the chat box. ALLY. What is an ally? Ally is a friend. Okay. Why do I say that? Why do I say, nervousness or anxiety is so bad? I want to get rid of it. I want to overcome it. But you're telling us that anxiety is my friend. Why is that? Because it creates your system. It puts your system into this alert mode. Correct? So even at 5 o'clock, when all of you are up, 5:30, maybe you were feeling very sleepy when you joined the class. But the moment I asked you to speak, because of the anxiety, because of the nervousness, all your sleep is gone. You've become more alert. Even if you have worked 10, 12 hours, at the end of 10, 12 hours, you have to go on a call, you're not sleepy. Your system is on the alert mode. Correct? Why? Because anxiety has kicked in. So some amount of anxiety is good because it puts our system into this alert mode. Also, it tells us that what we're about to do is of some importance to us. You don't feel anxiety before you have to talk to your regular, do your regular talk with your family or you're chit-chatting with your friends. That's not where anxiety kicks in. It kicks in before the interview. It kicks in before you have to, maybe go and talk to your manager. It kicks in before you have to go for the client call. Correct? It maybe kicks in before you have to propose to a girl. So in all those places where it is important for you, what you're about to do is of some importance or some significance to you and your life, that's where anxiety kicks in. Correct or not? Yes?
Correct, ma'am.
Which is good.
Correct.
Which is good because it tells you that, okay, I'm going to go on this client call, which is why I'm getting all this signs from my body, which is good because this client call is very important. I want this client call to go well. I want the job. And therefore, before the interview, I have this sweat. It tells you that what you're about to be doing is of importance to you. And therefore, anxiety has to be managed, but not overly overcome because a little bit of anxiety is good for you. It does some good things to you. It puts you on an alert mode. It tells you that what you're about to be doing is of importance to you. And for these two reasons, some amount of anxiety is good. Okay, but what happens in the predominant cases is this. The moment you see the sweat, the moment you see that tremble of your hands, the moment your face goes hot, you panic. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm getting the sweat. Oh my God, I'm having, butterflies in my stomach. Oh my God, my face is going hot. And that in itself aggravates the anxiety. You're feeling more anxious about your body's way of saying that it is anxious. And therefore, it just spirals out of control. And after that, it impacts your delivery. So you have to ensure that you manage your anxiety to the extent that it doesn't come in the way of your delivery of whatever it is, speaking or doing any activity that you want to. Okay, and how do we do that? How do we manage our anxiety? The first step is to acknowledge that this anxiety is good because it tells me what I'm about to be doing is of some significance to me. That acknowledgement in itself, that consciousness, that being aware that, okay, this is happening because I'm going to be doing this. That is why this is happening, and that's completely okay. That acknowledgement in itself will ensure that the anxiety doesn't spiral out of control. Now you feel that instead of allowing anxiety to take control of you, you feel that I am in control of my anxiety. Okay, yes, that's step number 1. Number 2, you take a long, deep breath. Okay, every time there is anxiety, what happens to your body is that you start breathing very shallow. You start to breathe very fast. You start to take quick breaths, but it's not very deep. You're getting it? And therefore your anxiety goes up. Can I have everybody take a long, deep breath? Come on. Communications workshops has changed into a meditation class. Do this one more time. Okay, people, I can't really reiterate the importance of taking a long, deep breath. It's very, very important to the extent that, you know, there are professionals who are doing breath work. As part of work, they're teaching people how to breathe. Can you imagine that? All the animals breathe themselves, but we human beings are being taught on how to take breaths. Why? Because we are so stressed. Under stress, under anxiety, our breath and the quality of the breathing that we do is getting impacted day by day, which is causing a lot of stress into our systems. So every time before you're about to do something more important, this really works. Because the moment you take a long, deep breath, you fill your lungs with that oxygen. Internally, you're trying to calm your system down. Your body is calm. Automatically, your mind is also calm. You know, your body and mind, they always work in sync. They will not contradict each other. Okay, your mind is stressed, your body will be stressed. Your body is stressed, your mind will be stressed. So what do? Your body is stressed, you take a long deep breath to calm your body, and that will in turn calm your mind. Okay, so even here, before you have to come and give a speech, I would advise people, do that and then begin. You will notice a lot of difference in the delivery of your speech. Have you noticed it? How if you're stressed, if you're anxious, if you're nervous, automatically the words come out very fast. You're speaking fast. And because you're speaking fast, you're taking very shallow, quick breaths. And because of that, you're getting more anxious. Okay, so you put a pause on everything before you begin. You say, good morning, everybody. And you will notice that how after that, it definitely goes better. Okay, so you take a long deep breath to calm your nerves, to calm your body, and therefore your anxiety levels are much lower. All right, now the second thing on managing anxiety. So imagine, so this happens, right? Under anxiety, we discuss what are all the things that happen to our body. Now imagine this, you have made some terrible mistake at work, okay? That's cost a lot of money for the client, and therefore everybody is angry. Your management is angry, your leaders are angry, your client is angry. And then in some time, you have to go on a call with everybody to discuss what can be done now. Okay, so how are you feeling before the call?
Embarrassed, anxious, stressed.
Same things that we just discussed, right?
Yeah.
You're feeling,
Yeah.
Right.
sweat, you're feeling bored. You feel like, oh my God, I want to just get away from here. I don't want to be here. That's how we're feeling. The butterflies in your stomach, all of that. Now imagine the same you've done excellent work, and your client is happy, your management is happy, your leaders are happy. Now we are going to go on a call, and in this call, in front of the entire project, your client is going to be awarding you something, maybe best performance, best performer award, employee of the award, employee of the year award. Okay, in just 5 minutes, you're going to get on this call and receive this award. Now, how are you feeling?
Same.
Same?
But not that nervous.
But that not nervous, but still there will be little bit
Actually, we will be
fear.
happy on that moment.
You will be happy, but what will happen to your body, like Abhijit is saying, you will still be having that sweat, you'll still be feeling hot and cold.
Not that much, but in little bit about amount.
Correct, agreed? But this
Yes.
time,
Yes.
instead of anxiety, it is called excitement.
Excitement. Yeah.
Yes,
Even
excitement.
before you have to get on the stage to receive an award, people still experience the same feelings in their body. You will feel that sweat, you will feel hands trembling a little bit, your voice will sound a little different. Every one of those signs that we discussed for anxiety will also come for excitement, because for your body, it is both one and the same. Anxiety and excitement are both one and the same. Your body will still feel more alert. Okay, all of that will happen the same way. It is only your mind that looks at one event as a negative event and the other event as a positive event. Does it make sense? I want everybody to take note of this, because this is the most important crux of how you can manage your anxiety. Okay, so anxiety and excitement are one and the same for your body. It is only your mind that looks as one as positive and the other as negative. So what do I want you to do is start looking at uncomfortable situations as exciting, instead of looking at it as a negative event and thinking that it is anxiety. The moment you make that switch in your mind, the moment you tell yourself, oh, I'm going to be making a speech, oh, I'm having all the sweat and body signs, that's okay, because I'm excited. I'm excited to be doing the speech. I'm not nervous about doing it. I'm excited to be doing it. You know, if you watch the Olympic players or any sportsman for that matter, you know, international level sports person, be it swimmers or athletes, and there is press, you know, who are asking them, how do you feel? How do you feel before this big event? You would find every one of them say, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm looking forward. Because the moment you make that switch in your mind that I'm looking for, you know, I'm excited, the moment you say I'm excited, you look forward to it. So your body wants to go for it. You're telling your mind, in your mind you say, I want it. But the moment you say, I'm nervous about it, I'm anxious about it, you would want to avoid it. You would want to say, no, I don't want that. So your body will lean away from that event instead of looking forward to it. You're getting the difference?
Yes.
So make that change in your mind. So every time, even here, I'm saying, okay, let's do this activity, and you're feeling uncomfortable inside, there's a little amount of nervousness or anxiety, tell yourself, it's not anxiety, it's excitement. Before you have to go for that important client call, tell yourself, I'm excited to be doing this. Before you have to go for that interview, tell yourself, I'm excited. It's going to be a new job. I'm excited about meeting new people. I'm excited about making this presentation. I'm excited about talking to people. I'm excited about talking to my client. I'm excited about doing this interview. All places where you're experiencing anxiety, you think you're experiencing anxiety, tell yourselves, I'm excited. Okay, does it make sense?
Yes.
Completely.
Yes? You
Yes.
tell your
Yes.
mind that you're excited, your body will automatically follow. So instead of wanting to avoid it, you will say, I want to do it. I want the prize. I want the award. I want the speech to go well. And the moment you look at it in a positive way, you can only do good. And the moment you decide that, it's not going to go well, I want to avoid it because I'm extremely nervous, it'll only go down. Did I give you this example of the employee who was part of my previous batch and what happened to him? Did I give you the example?
No, ma'am.
No?
No.
Okay. So I had this participant from the last batch, and he belonged to again the night shift. And in the next week, his manager was taking off for 1 month. Not manager, but his lead. His lead was taking off for 1 whole month, and he was supposed to be doing everything that his lead was doing. Okay. The moment he got to know that, he became extremely nervous. And it was Thursday, and he came to speak to me, and I was able to see that he did not want the week to end. He did not want Monday to start, because from Monday is when his lead is going to go off, and he will have to be present in all the client calls. He will have to step up and do some of the things that his lead was doing. Okay, so very visibly he was stressed. He was in panic. He was anxious. He said, oh, I don't even want Monday to begin. Let this week continue to go. That's how much stressed he was. But we spoke, and the moment we changed it from a negative thing to a positive thing, I started asking him why amongst his entire team, the management thought he will be a good place to, step up in the absence of his lead. Why did they choose him? Because he has the potential, right? And this is, instead of looking at it as a negative event, if we can look at it as an opportunity to display your skills, an opportunity to let everybody know that I am good too. I can do this job. I need to be promoted. It's a wonderful opportunity for you to show your skills, right? The moment we made this switch, and the moment I made him realize, instead of looking at it at all the negative things, if we can just look at the positive things, he started looking forward to Monday. Yes, true. I can do everything, but nobody knows I can do all of these things. There's no visibility. And now this month is going to be the time where I can visibly show people that I can do all of these things. So in fact, together we thank this manager for taking off for 1 month, so that in that 1 month, he will be able to display his skills. And he will be able to understand what it is to be a lead of that particular team. Automatically, when we did that, his anxiety came down, his stress came down. He looked forward to it. How do you think his month would have gone if he had remained in that state of mind, thinking that I want to avoid it, I want to avoid it, I want to avoid it? It would naturally go down. Before even he started doing it, he assumed that it's only going to go bad. And therefore, it will go bad. But you look at it and you say, I want to do it. I'm excited to be doing it. It's a great opportunity for me. He's giving himself a chance to put out his best, and therefore he will only do his best. So it all comes down to how you look at that particular experience. Do you look at it in a positive light, or you look at it in a negative light? Do you want it, or do you reject it? That is going to decide what is going to be your delivery. Okay, yes. So that is what I would want people to do. Every time you're anxious, I want you to take a long deep breath, acknowledge your body signs of showing that it is under stress. Tell yourselves it's completely okay, and I'm very excited to be doing this. Okay, so this is with respect to your mind. All right, now coming to the physical aspects of how you control your anxiety before you have to say something. So like Mrinmay was telling me that, you know, her voice, there are certain words, the first few words, they don't come out very properly. Okay, why is that? Along with anxiety, there is also this reason why, you know, you've been quiet for a long time and then suddenly you have to talk. So I always say, imagine Vikas is now giving a speech, and next it will be Adnan. Adnan will have to speak next. Whom do you think will be more stressed? Will it be Vikas or Adnan?
Adnan.
Correct? The person who is about to go, the person who's waiting to speak up next, he will be under a lot of stress. The person who's actually speaking, who has opened his mouth and started speaking, he'll be okay. At least under less stress than the person who's waiting to open. Okay, so you're waiting for your chance to speak, so you're under a lot of stress, and the moment you open your mouth, all that stress comes out, and you're not able to get your words are not sounding right, the initial few words. Okay, so it is of course anxiety. Along with it, you've also been quiet for a lot of time, and therefore the first few words doesn't sound like you. So I would want, one trick would be to, you know, before you have to go, move your body a bit. So maybe you would not be able to dance or do anything. I know of a public speaker who was being paid thousands of dollars for 1 hour of his speaking, and before he goes on stage, he does 100 push-ups. And therefore he goes on the stage, he's, you know, sweating, he's fully sweating. That's how he goes on stage. So I'm not saying that all of you do your push-ups, but the point is if you're physically exerting yourselves, you know, you're not giving your mind so much time to worry about what will happen. Correct? So move your body. Maybe before that interview, instead of just sitting in a chair, just walk on the corridor. Before you have to take the call, just maybe walk in your own cubicle or in your own corridors of office. Because when you're moving your body, you're also moving your mind along, and therefore your mind is not stuck with what will happen during the call. How will I speak? You're not worrying basically. Okay, so that is one technique that you could use. The other technique, say something to yourselves, you know. So this is great because you could simply say some affirmations like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm confident, I'm confident, I'm confident, I'm confident. So you could, there are certain messages that you could tell yourselves little bit aloud. So it's, you're not telling this in your own mind, but you're also moving your lips and you're saying something like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm confident, I'm confident, I'm confident, I'm confident. So when you're doing this, you're also giving some positivity and you're boosting your own self. That's number one. The second thing is you're also speaking. Correct? So immediately after this, people are going to call you out, you know, ask you to come inside, or you have to pick the phone and do that call. You don't have a great break. So you've been very quiet, and then you have to break that quietness and you have to speak. Your voice comes out very hoarse. But because you've been saying something to your own selves, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, you're practicing your vocal cords while you're saying those things. And therefore, when you have to speak, you don't have that break, and therefore your voice comes out very normally. Make sense? Or you could say some tongue twisters like, you know, what are some tongue? She sells seashells on the seashore. Can somebody repeat that 10 times? She sells seashells on the seashore. She sells seashells on the seashore. I put it on the chat. Can somebody read that?
She sells.
Ankit, go ahead, read it.
Okay. She sells on the seashore, sea store. She sells seashells on the sea store. She sells
Shahrukh, read it.
She sells seashells on the seashore.
Everything you're saying she.
She sells
She sells
seashells
seashells on the
on
seashore.
the seashore.
Who can read?
She sells
Yeah. Go ahead, Shahrukh, go ahead.
seashells on the seashore.
Okay,
She
Vikas.
sells
Seashells on the seashore. She sells. She shells on the seashore. She sells seashells on the seashore.
Okay. Shangara.
She sails on the she store. She sails on seashore. She
Okay.
sails seashells on seashore.
Okay, Saurabh.
She sails on the seashore. She sails on the seashore. She sails on the seashore.
Every word is sounding similar. It is she sells seashells on the seashore. Okay, Abhijit, go ahead.
She sells seashells on the seashores.
Hmm.
She sells seashells on the seashores.
Okay. Who has not said it? Hemant.
Yes. She sails on the seashore. She sails on the seashore. She sails on the seashore.
Okay. Okay. So those are called tongue twisters. So Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter, so she bought some better butter to make the bitter butter better. Adnan, can you read that?
No, that's a very hard tongue twister.
That's a very hard tongue
I
twister.
tried to whisper. Yeah, I have tried to whisper when I was mute, but it was pretty hard. Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter, so she bought some better butter to make a bitter butter.
Okay, good. Rinmai, can you read that? Fast.
Am I visible
Yeah.
on the camera? Okay. Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter, so she bought some bitter butter to make bitter butter better.
Yeah.
Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter, so she bought some bitter butter to make bitter butter bitter.
Yeah, lovely. So these are called tongue twisters. You know, I think in Marathi you have kacha papad, pakka papad. Kacha papad, pakka papad, kacha papad.
And that's Hindi.
Hindi, is it okay? In Hindi. Yeah. So something like that, where you are concentrating on getting the sounds correct. That's what you're doing when you're doing your mouth twisters, right? Tongue twisters. You're trying to see whether am I producing the sounds in a correct fashion, and therefore you're not allowing your brain to worry about how am I going to be speaking. Okay. Yes. See, if I tell you, do not imagine a black color, a red color crow. Don't imagine a red color crow. Don't imagine. Never imagine a red color crow. What is happening? Everybody is having this picture of a red color crow in your mind.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So the more you tell your brain you should not do this, that's exactly what it will do, because it cannot understand negative connotations. Okay. So instead of telling your brain, don't worry about how I will speak, Give it another activity to do. Maybe you can give it some mental exercises like math exercises like 100 minus 17. What is it?
30.
What is it?
87.
30.
83.
83. 83 minus 17. मैम सुबह सुबह क्यों इतना परेशान कर रहे हैं हम? हाँ. What is it? 83 minus 17. People.
66.
Somebody is doing it on Google. Okay. So what are we doing here? When we are trying to occupy our brain by giving it some max problem. And thereby, because can you mute yourselves? Yes, okay. Because our brain is actively working on the sum, the max problem, it does not allow space or time to think about what could go wrong, what will I speak. It will basically not worry. Yeah. So before you have to do some important speaking that will cause you anxiety, I want you to consciously occupy your mind with something else. Okay. Give it a tongue twister. Say some positive affirmations like I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm confident, I'm confident, I'm confident. Or give it a math problem, whatever it is. And physically move your body. When you're doing all of these things, you're basically not allowing your system. And when I say system, it means both your mind and your body. Okay. I'm not giving my system any time or space to worry about what will happen in the future. Okay. You've changed the way you think towards anxiety. You now want it. You look at it as excitement. You're not allowing your mind to worry about what will happen. So when you're doing all of these things, this in itself will remove the anxiety. And you are in a better shape to deliver whatever you wanted to deliver. Okay, yes? And the last thing, prepare. Even if it's going to be just a 5-minute client call, prepare for it if you feel that you still are not very confident. Because 80% of the times, your preparation helps. And when I say preparation, it is just not about collecting the contents that you want to say. It is even about your mental preparation, which is why I will always advocate, even if you have to come for the workshop, right? Don't log in at 5:30. 5:30 is your workshop timing. Log in at least 5:25. What will happen is those 5 minutes will acclimatize you and your mind to the activity that you're about to be doing. Because your mind is, right, this amazing thing. And we use it for so many things, so many of our activities. But it's very difficult for your mind to just be doing one thing and then suddenly stop doing that and do another thing. So give your mind that it just needs few minutes of time. Why do you think that our classrooms during our schools were mostly designed for every one of your period that you would have in your class was designed between 45 minutes to 1 hour. You would not have periods more than 1 hour, correct?
Yes.
Ankit, what was your duration? Every period,
Correct, ma'am.
how long?
1 hour.
1 hour? Not
Yeah.
more than that, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because your mind needed that amount of time to make that switch between one period and another period. It cannot focus beyond that 1 hour without saying anything, just listening. Now, don't ask me why are our sessions for 1.5 hours, because here you get to speak, here you get to interact. So that's enough for your mind to get active. Okay. But if you had been continuously just listening, Your mind cannot focus on the listening activity more than 45 minutes to 1 hour. It needs a break, which is why you get at least those 1 to 2 minutes of time when one teacher goes away and the other teacher comes and you chit chat. You maybe get up, you drink a sip of water and do all those stuff. Hi. Okay, I'm going to get her out of the screen. So, yeah. So before you have to speak, give yourselves and your mind some amount of preparation. So if you're going on a call, just write down the important points that you have to make during the call. Prepare to think about what are the possible questions that people could be asking you. Before you have to speak, write down the most important points. I call this the speech plan card. If it's a prepared speech, you can have some pointers. Even before a client call, you can still write down what are the few things that maybe they could ask. You know, what is the update about the project? If you are the client, what are the things that you would be asking the team? Okay, and then 5 minutes, just give yourself and your mind to focus. Sit in one place, settle down, focus, think about it in a positive way. Tell yourselves, okay, I'm excited to be doing this call and I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to sharing my thoughts about this particular thing to this particular person, and you prepare. Anybody who is more prepared will always have that edge over somebody who is not prepared, 100%. So even as your trainer, even if I have done this workshop hundreds of times, I would still myself need to prepare at least mentally for 5 minutes on thinking, what is it that I want to be doing today with all these people? What are the topics that I want to cover under communication for today's class? And you will always notice that I come in and log in at least 10 minutes prior to the workshop, whichever time it is. At least 10 minutes before you will find me online. Because we do hundreds of things on a day, right? How do we give ourselves and our minds this focus? Okay, I'm going to be doing this in the next 1 hour. So your mind needs that acclimatization. Okay, so preparation, anxiety management, getting your system to look forward to the event instead of avoiding it. So anxiety versus excitement, and physically getting yourselves be present instead of not allowing your system to be worried about the future consequences. How do you be physically present in the now versus worrying for the future? So you cover all of these things, you are better to handle your anxiety, and you definitely show a difference in the kind of delivery that you give with respect to your communications. Okay.